Hey guys, it's Fish Tank Galore here, and we're going to be covering, not a fish this time, but we're going to be covering a crustacean. Now, some people think this thing is extremely interesting. I'm one of those people. Other people think that this thing is one of the most boring things you can ever find in a fish tank. This is a ghost shrimp. Now, ghost shrimp are typically, you can find them for 8 for $1, 12 for $1, sometimes 15 for $1. They're really, really inexpensive things. And that's because they breed like friggin' rabbits. This one, I don't know if you can tell, but this one has the eggs in him or in her already. There's those little green things under the tail there. And a lot of the times they just breed out of control, and that's why they're so cheap. The other thing you gotta watch is that they don't breed out of control in your tanks. What you don't want is a million of these guys running around, because eventually they will become territorial against their own species. They're great for community fish, smaller ones. When you get into the larger fish tend to see them as food, and so they'll pick them off on the way down while you're putting them in, or even when they're already on the bottom and they've been there for a while. If the fish feel like, hey, I'm really hungry today, they'll just go ahead and tag him and he'll be gone. And you won't have yourself a ghost shrimp anymore. These barbs actually are the perfect size for that. I don't know why they haven't eaten them yet, but mysteries every day. There's another one over here. Now these ghost shrimp, they typically like overhangs and things to hide under, so you'll typically find them inside massive growing areas of plants or underneath these plants here, like this one. There he is. The other thing they really like is they really like these rocks. They'll hang all over the rocks, on the sides, on the top, underneath. And sometimes they'll even burrow into the gravel and they'll be underneath the rocks, and that's normally when they molt. And when they molt is that they're getting bigger and they'll shed their skin and go under the rocks and try and hide for a while, because that's when the fish try and eat them the most. These things are actually really fantastic for your tank because they'll clean up any leftover food that's on the bottom, and they'll pick parasites off of the walls, the rocks, pretty much anything in the tank. Also, something that I've found at least is that when plants have been exposed to light for a long time, they tend to get these burnt out edges where the plant's just not doing very well, or there's excess algae growth on the plant. These guys will actually clean that off and get your plants back into healthy shape, so that's really good. If you are looking to feed your fish, fish love ghost shrimp. If you have bigger cichlids, or if you have larger community fish who really have gotten too big for your fish pellets, then these things are great for fish who like to chase down their food, or fish who eat these things naturally. The ghost shrimp, there are two kinds of ghost shrimp, so you got to be careful. If you do go to a fish store, there are freshwater and saltwater. I have bought saltwater before. The saltwater ghost shrimp will not survive in the freshwater tank. What will happen is that you'll drop them in and they'll become really, really opaque white after about a day, because they just cannot stand the fresh water. And vice versa, you probably shouldn't be putting saltwater ghost shrimp or freshwater ghost shrimp in the saltwater tank. They probably survive even less time. So you got to be careful about that. Something else about them is that they will friggin' eat just about anything. So the other thing that they're really good at is, and this is kind of gross, but they eat the poop. There, I said it. They will eat your fish's droppings off of the gravel. So that's another thing that they do to keep the tank clean. I think they're pretty interesting. A lot of the times you can watch them pecking at stuff, so they're pretty cool. And they're really great for beginners because they can survive in just about any temperature water. They prefer it to be a little colder, but you can keep them in warmer water. And some people if you have a nano tank, a nano tank is like a 1 gallon with maybe just an LED and a filter in it. These things are great for that because you can just watch them run around and stuff, especially in a tank with no fish. And something that I have found is when they do become confident in a tank with fish that they know won't eat them, they will start to swim around up to the top, and I've actually watched them take fish flakes right out of the mouths of the fish. So that's pretty interesting. What he's doing right now is he's cleaning himself from parasites off of his tail. So, I think they're pretty interesting. Yeah, if you disagree with me, you can let me know in the comments, but other than that, this has been another video from Fish Tanks Galore, and I will see you next time.